Grief. Best thing about grief is it likes to come in waves, and it will hit you out of nowhere. It is my faithful companion at this point. And it's not even just about past loved ones. It's literally grief about saying goodbye to your old self, to your old life, old habits, thoughts, beliefs. But I want to talk about the grief of the loved ones, because just like anybody else, we all have them, especially in the past few years. And since some of them are really fresh, they like to just kind of sneak up on you. My newest one is my ex-husband, and I just shared a whole half-hour video on that. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on grief, but not just the loved ones. But that's what I'm talking about right now, it's just the loved ones, because each one of them are going to get their own separate video, because that's how important they are to me. Even if they don't know, you don't know who they are, I don't care. They're for me anyway, so, and anybody that knew them. So, but it's important to remember them. Because once the last person that remembered that person is gone, there's nothing left. Maybe a picture, a story. How many people do you think I know, like when my mom will tell me, oh, you remember when so-and-so uncle this person died? I'm like, nope. I was like 5, Mom. What about her? What about, okay, well, so blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. None of that affects me. Why? Because I didn't know that person. I didn't have a relationship with that person. So that's normal, right? But when it's somebody that is super close to you, or even somebody that you grew up with, or like acquaintance of somebody way back when or something, death will hit you in all the right places, okay? And not in the wrong places. Because I'm not afraid of death by any means, not even my own, okay? I know death is not final. That's just my own belief. Many people believe that. This is just one blink of an eye, this lifetime. But for us here now, as humans, and as people pass, we love them for a reason. Otherwise, we would not be hurting when they leave. When their meat suit's gone. Okay? They're always here. Most of us don't see them. And if you do, you're special. I have a feeling I'll see mine eventually too. I think we all are at some point. But they're here now. Their meat suit's gone. Boom, bye-bye, see ya. Doesn't matter. Since my spiritual awakening, obviously, I've always believed, even before that even my past loved ones of grandparents and stuff, or uncles or whatever, they're in heaven or wherever, okay? Wherever. But I still feel them here. And I still hold them here and here. So as long as they're still here, they're never going to be gone. Until that, like I said, that last person that remembers them is gone themselves. So, grief is definitely going to come into waves. So when I say I'm going to especially have videos of each one because how important they were with me in my life, it's only going to be my story and my perspective. That same person is going to be somebody else's important person and their own heart and love and perspective of their relationship with that same person. For instance, my ex-husband or my sister-in-law. I have my own stories, and I'm going to share some of those stories in videos to come. Why? Because I think they're important. Do I care if you know them? Nope. But you know what? If you tell me about your Uncle Sam that died that was important to you, I'm going to listen to you. Doesn't mean anything. It's important to you, and that's what matters. So that's why I'm going to share my stories, because they're my stories. And they made a big part of my life. Otherwise, I wouldn't be grieving them. Yes, even past people that I was too little to remember. I have a lot. And I have a lot of stories around death itself. I'm not afraid of death. And I'll repeat myself, I'm not. I never really was. I don't know if it's before my own faith even, because that didn't come until I was in teenage years. I just knew that death wasn't final. Just knew that before I even knew that, you know? Whether there was a heaven or purgatory or a different timeline, whatever, okay? I knew. So, I will grieve like anybody else, but I also know how important that grieving period is because it's in your body. You're still, again, I know they're here. They're physically still with me, not in a meat suit anymore. They are just basically specks at this point until I can see them physically in another dimension, because that's where we're headed. But for right now on this side of the veil, I feel them. I hear them. I physically hear them. Not all of them, just some. The ones that I was closer to. I hear my sister-in-law, my ex-husband. I'll even hear an ex-boyfriend. Yeah, there's two of exes up there. And sometimes a grandparent. It just depends on who I'm thinking of at that point. I hear their voice. It's more of a whisper, but it's there. Sometimes it's a smell. And I'll know it's them. A certain grandmother with the smell. But that's how your memory gets triggered. And that's, again, why grief is in waves. The grandparents I had stories upon stories. And I remember a lot of those stories because I'm one of the oldest grandkids. I'm the oldest on one side and the second on the other, so pretty much. And I remember a lot of stories. And I remember a lot of them more than even some of my cousins. So when I say I'm not afraid of death, it's because I've been around death all my life. I was even there through several of my family members as they took their last breath. I actually begged for my Aunt Benida, and she did. She waited for me. But for me, death is just another transition, basically. So I'm going to share some of my stories of some of these people. Even if you don't know them, that's okay. In the stories alone might be some nuggets of wisdom, though, because each one of them, good and bad, and let me tell you, good and bad. Not everybody's an angel. You don't remember just the good stuff, guys, even in grief. And that's okay, because if you did, well, I mean, that's kind of like your brain not wanting to see the trauma, just like bury it. Till you start doing the healing journey, yeah, then yeah, you get undarkness out of the little webs there. Like I said, grief is your companion in so many ways. And I know I'm smiling about it, but at this point, I literally just like, okay, it's just another day. It's a Tuesday, whatever. Also, 11/11. Also, I was a caretaker for most of my adult life. I was a CNA home companion type person. And I've seen a lot of them, death, clearly, you know. And not all of them were young. I mean, excuse me, old. I meant to say old, but young came out. Some of them were young. I mean, even in my own family, they were young. Sometimes too young. Barely even had a life. Or none, hardly any at all. Like I said, grief is your companion. I think I've become friends with it more because some people just really have a hard time with grief in general. Just one particular loved one gone, and their whole life is meaninglessly. I've seen it. I have a friend right now currently going through it. It's hard. And I understand, because it's the trauma up there and the hurt here. And there's nothing you can really help them. It is literally time. And it's their own healing process. Some of them will take years. Guys, you can't just get over anything, especially death. I don't give a shit who you are. But when a parent loses a child before, that is no pain that no child and no parent wants to go through, okay? And I've seen that a few times, unfortunately. And that, I hope to God I'll never have to deal with, because to be honest with you, I think this is why I understand. As a mom, my friend, somebody I've known since childhood, lost her son a few years ago, an accident. And I've been thinking about her for so many years now. If she's watching, just know that. You know who you're talking about. Trust me. And so many times, I've reached out a few times. She's doing okay. There's a lot of bad days, more than good right now, because she's so into that darkness. There's nothing that you can do. Time sometimes don't always help. Those are the ones that I want to reach. The ones that feel helpless, or hopeless. The ones that don't feel like they could ever let go of their grief. Because the grief, like I said, is your companion. It doesn't have to be. Not in that way, anyway. But until you're ready to get out of that darkness, you'll be there. And maybe there's a lesson on its own just for that. Some people had contracted that for whatever lesson they needed. Because it's hard. When you lose somebody, this child was a little bit older than even my son, because she was pregnant in high school, and I can't imagine what she is going through, because I couldn't imagine if it was my kid. So I do feel for her, and I pray for her all the time. But those are the ones that I want to reach, are the ones that think there's no hope, or what's the point? Because let me tell you right now, there is a point, otherwise you still wouldn't be here on this side of the veil. And that's what they want to show you and share with you. They're okay. They're worried about you. That's why you feel them all the time. They're there for you to help you through your grief, no matter how long it takes. Let me tell you again, grief is my companion. The first death that really did me in was my cousin Tammy. And like I said, everybody's going to get their own little story. She's 12 days older than me and did not make it to her 39th birthday. And she had 4 beautiful kids and a husband. And I grew up with her like she's my twin. I mean, we don't look nothing alike, by the way. Just because we were 12 days apart. That was my hardest death. Oh, so much on that one. And this is why I'm not an expert on grief by any means. Doesn't mean I haven't felt it. Doesn't mean that the guilt wasn't there many times. We're human. It's okay. Try not to stay in it in a lifetime, though. Live your life. They want that for you. And I know how hard it is to get out of that hole. Reach out to someone. Me. I don't know if there's an actual, grief counselor in me, per se, but if nothing else, a listening ear. Just by listening to you. Maybe you just need it out. And there's other ways to help you heal, and I can help you there too. It's up to you on that. But grief, it's your companion. Well, I'm going to go make some videos of them right now while I'm in this mood, because I don't want to keep crying. I really don't. I laugh, and I'm not, that's why I say I don't care. Grief, like I said, comes in waves, but it's also with a laughter with me. Like I said, I'm not afraid. I'm not looking forward to a few coming up. I'm not lying. But I know eventually I gotta say goodbye to them too. Eventually. Until then, though, I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of them. The loved ones here now, enjoy them. They're the ones that still living. If you need somebody to talk to, seriously, comment. I'll get a hold of you. Anyway, till the next video. I love you guys, and keep on shining.